We are ready to rock, or stones, rocks, stones, whatever it may be. Welcome, PJNet Live, to a hashtag rally. Tonight is Friday, June the 3rd, and I call your attention to a new visitor in our chat room, Five Little Stones. And I'm not going to say a whole lot about it because I want her to say more about it. Hey, Becky, come on in. Have a seat right over here. Pull up a chair next to me right there. There you go. And Becky, I don't want to say a word. I want you to tell the story. Five Little Stones.
Okay, well, I am a firearms instructor in Oklahoma, and up until about 11 years ago, I had never touched a gun other than my grandpa did teach me to shoot a rifle when I was about 7.
That big 22 caliber, huh?
Yeah, and now it's my favorite thing on earth.
I remember we used to buy 1,000 rounds for $10.
Oh, I know. My husband and I were so excited.
At Montgomery Ward.
My husband and I were so excited to find some tonight at Academy. It was like, oh, there's 22. We must buy a bunch.
They were a penny a piece. I kid you not. You know?
Oh, I don't doubt it. Okay, so as far as my story goes, I got married really young when I was about 20 years old. And within 11 months, I got pregnant and had a daughter and found out that my husband, who had told me he would never be able to abuse anyone because he had been abused as a child, was very wrong about that. And he abused me, he abused her. It was not a happy situation. But about a year and a half into that, she and I packed up and got out. But I went a lot of years being very, very frightened. I had nightmares that he was coming to get us, and he had made threats about coming to get us. And I spent a lot of time really scared until I met my current husband, and he took me out shooting about 11 years ago. And the first time that I held a gun in my hands and put a bullet in the bullseye, I suddenly felt like things are even. And I can take care of myself, and I don't have to be scared anymore. And so I just got first I got very into shooting for myself, and then the more training I got, the more I realized how many male instructors there are, and that there are a lot of females who are not comfortable in the setting that a lot of classes happen. And so I started doing a girls-only shooting group, and I became an instructor, and now I teach classes, and it's just, I don't know, it's like it was meant to be. It's something I never imagined doing 20 years ago, but now I can't imagine doing anything else.
So there were some markers along the way. You had abuse in your first marriage.
Yes.
And then you were able to get out of it, but yet you, even though he was not living with you anymore, you still felt, endangered. Is that
I
fair
still
to
lived
say?
in the same town with him, and I saw him from time to time, and yeah, it was scary.
So you mustered the courage to arm yourself, and where did you make that transition from just being armed to being a Second Amendment advocate and doing all? I mean, you went beyond just arming yourself, Beck.
Right. I think, like I said, it was just a matter of going to some classes myself and realizing that it wasn't always a comfortable place to be, especially when you weren't yet sure of yourself. And I just really wanted other girls like me to have someone supportive and someone say, you can do this,
Mm-hmm. You have a similar situation in the motorcycle culture, because I've been involved in that, and it's dominated by men, and you do have to go to, if you're going to get a license in Florida, you have to get a certificate that says you can operate a motorcycle, and the school, oddly enough, when I went, was 50% female.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're seeing more and more females interested in and understanding the value of, defending yourself if necessary with a firearm. What's your favorite? What do you carry?
Well, my favorite is a Kimber, Ultra Carry 2 9mm. That's the one that I prefer, but it's also a very pretty gun, so I don't always carry it. Sometimes I carry a Smith & Wesson Shield just because I can bang around on it and not worry about it.
Yeah, I use a Ruger P89 9mm, my favorite. And I got a Walther 380 for my wife, and that Walther, although it's a much more expensive weapon and should be better, I mean, it hangs up. It's
yeah. I'm not a 380 fan. I haven't had good luck with 380s, but I know a lot of people they work for, and in my classes I tell people use what you're comfortable with.
Well,
I really get tired of the Glock versus and 1911 versus everybody else and all those fights. It's like, use whatever you're comfortable with and what works for you.
Yeah. Now, when I was riding a motorcycle, sometimes people would point out to me in their ignorance that you should always wear a helmet when you're riding a motorcycle, and I would, and I do, by the way, but that's not my point. My point is I would say my protection is not in my helmet. What would you say to those who say, the Lord is my protection? Why would I arm myself with a gun?
Well, that's why I picked the name of my business that I did, Five Little Stones. It's the story of David and Goliath, and God didn't send David unarmed to meet Goliath. He sent him with the thing that he trained with every day. That's what he sent him with. And so I can use the thing that I train with every day to defend myself and my family, too.
I tried to tee it up for you. I tried to. Five Little Stones. Now, that I guess that could be considered a high-capacity magazine, couldn't it? He didn't say one or two.
No.
Wasn't a single shot.
Right.
No, 5. That's pretty good. That's a pretty high capacity magazine. I wonder how many of those he needed. I don't know, to be honest.
As far as I know, the Bible says he only used one. I think that's. I don't know, but I think that's what it says. But yep.
So is this your full time? Is this what you've dedicated your life to, or is this something that you do weekends and how well participated are your classes?
It's not my main thing because I have a stepdaughter who's disabled, and so I take care of her during the day while her dad's at work. Mm-hmm. And so I'm taking care of her while he's at work, and then when he's at home, he's taking care of her so I can do this. And
so how much time does it take to? How much time do you devote, to the school?
I do it on weekends, so I always have about one public concealed carry class a month that I schedule, but then the other weekends are taken up with people who schedule private classes. I do a lot of private classes, and I really prefer that. Like just one person or them and a few of their friends come to do a concealed carry class or a basic pistol class or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I do it, I probably have 4 or 5 8-hour classes plus a couple of 2 or 3 hour classes thrown in a week. A month.
The day may come when one of your students looks you up and says they had an occasion that they actually needed to use that weapon, and that would make it very affirming.
Right. And, also at the same time, one of the things that I tell my students in every class is I want to be sure that they know how to be safe and confident, because I don't ever want to wake up and turn on the news and see one of their pictures and they did something stupid with their gun. Mm-hmm. So I always want to know that they know how to be safe, and that I'm doing a good job of teaching them that, so that something bad doesn't happen down the line and I feel responsible for it.
And just getting the concealed permit, that's just a legal requirement. What I do is, you need to practice enough with it where you do develop that confidence and comfort and what we call muscle memory, It's like riding a bicycle or swinging a golf club or anything else. If you have to consciously think about, at the conscious level, that's not good enough. It needs to become automatic, because the situation is not going to provide to call a timeout and say, hang on here while I, do this, that, and the other. So,
Exactly.
But it's great to hear from you, Becky, and I just thank you so much for your ministry, especially to women out there who may be intimidated. And I just wanted to, I was impressed when I read your story on your blog, and I hope everybody will. We'll put the link to it in there a little bit later on. Becky, thanks for sharing your story. We hope you'll hang out with us and hang around some good old 2A patriots.
I will. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.